We are the Muses,
goddesses of the arts,
and proclaimers of heroes,
and pirates,
and villains,
and allies,
and eels,
and aliens,
and princesses,
and inventors.
Oh, man. And there's a lot of these glimmers out here.
honestly.
Hello, and welcome to the Lorcana Muses podcast. I'm Brittany,
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Kimber.
and we are so excited to have you here for our latest episode.
There has been a lot going on with card reveals and Seattle DLC, and I'm excited to get to talk about it.
Yeah, there's been so much. I mean, we have almost all of the cards revealed by now. There's only a few left, along with the enchanted reveals. So I'm really excited to talk about that and talk about deck building and what's coming up for Lorcana.
Yes, it should be a fun episode. But first, as always, the weekend updates. We had our villains night.
It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun. We all dressed up. It was really silly. My daughter beat you, and she was really proud of that.
She did a really good job. She played very well. I was like, oh no, my goddaughter's beating me so badly. And it was really, really, like, she annihilated.
Yeah, I mean,
It was not even close.
I played Kimber's daughter later that evening, and it was a grind to get that win from her. She almost won, and I said, I can't let this happen.
She came home and she was just like, you know what? I almost beat Auntie Stephanie. She was very, very proud of her.
I love that for them. I know.
I was just proud of her for not being like, I didn't win. Like, being like, no, I got close. Like, and I was
She
like,
should be so proud. Both the girls should. I mean,
yeah.
they're in first grade, and Alex and I were talking on the way home. They're going to be little Lorcana savants by the time they're in high school, going all these tournaments, winning.
Yeah, no, her deck was really good. It was simple but efficient. It had a great curve. My deck was really bad, but also she just played it well. She played it smart, and I think she did a good job. So I was very proud of her.
Yeah. And then we had lots of fun. I placed third, which was really exciting. I didn't see that coming. So
We love it.
my queen deck did what it was supposed to. Woo!
Long live the queen.
Love them. I finally got the Hades Squish'em, so now I have him, and you got an Ursula.
Yeah.
And we have like the Infinity Gauntlet of all the Disney villains, and they're so fun.
Yeah.
So shiny.
And we love our villains. So having the Squish'ems was super fun.
Yeah. But it was extra fun because when we opened them, it was our two daughters.
Yeah.
They opened up Hades and then Ursula right after each other. It was just like, wait, what?
I know.
One of the ones we were waiting for.
So, but they were gracious enough to trade other ones I had duplicates of, so I could steal those too.
I mean, it helped that you purchased them.
Yeah.
But they are pretty gracious too.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We also had Friday League. I didn't go on Friday, but I heard that was a pretty good turnout.
It was relatively good. It was smaller than it had been recently, just because I think people have been tired because it's been a month full of Set Champs.
Yeah.
And we also had a lot of people that are part of our league that were at Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the other part of it.
I was pretty happy though, because I got fifth, and I feel like my Ruby Sapphire deck I've just been starting to feel kind of down. So it felt nice to be able to get some wins in there with that.
No, it's a good deck. I think you did well. I don't remember where I placed, but I played, so I don't remember past that.
We played Lorcana. We had fun.
Yeah,
That's all I take away.
But play a lot of Lorcana. Just sometimes don't always remember what place it is because it's not as important. Yeah.
And we are finally now past Set Champs.
Honestly, it was kind of exhausting, and I didn't even play in this last weekend, but Daryl played every single weekend of Set Champs, and that was a lot. And he did really well. So, like, continuing our weekend update, like, Daryl got first again.
Yeah.
So, like, that was awesome.
So that's 2 champion mats, right, for him?
Yeah, 2 champions. He didn't keep the second one. He like traded it in for store credit, but yeah, no, he only needs the one.
Yeah.
So.
That's so fair. And so awesome that he did so well. I'm glad Set Champs is over. I feel like as a community, you can feel the tiredness of all of us. Especially because we're at the tail end of a set. So we're like, okay, we're yearning and really eager for some new cards and fresh meat.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are cooking and seeing what's coming up. Like I know a lot of people are making proxies of the upcoming cards.
Yeah.
Daryl's been doing that a bunch, and a lot of other players have been doing it. We had some people on Friday who didn't play this in League, but they brought a deck that they had built proxies with, and it played really well. And so they're just practicing for next set.
And I think there's a lot of exciting things, not necessarily with new mechanics, but with seeing different things done with the mechanics that we already have. And I think that's going to lend itself to some new color combinations that we're not as used to seeing.
Yeah, I think that I saw a few decks late in the set that were playing the Sapphire Emerald cards. I think that that's going to be a viable, even more viable deck, because it beat me pretty heartily in both of the set champs that I came against it with. Same pilot, so I don't know if it was the deck or the pilot, because Brandon was a formidable opponent. But
it can be both.
It can be both. And so like nobody else had been playing that deck again, or that I had seen recently. I'm excited because like I obviously have played a lot of location-based decks. And this set seems to support those already built location decks that I've already like have established. But I think that also like expands upon that mechanic, and I think it's a good mechanic to combat like discard decks and to combat decks that are dependent upon having to have control of the board, because there's not as many cards that control location areas. There's still location removal, but I feel like if you balance out characters and locations, it can be pretty viable. Now, I will say we saw the beginnings of locations seeing a resurgence with that very interesting Seattle deck.
Yeah. Amber Steel deck. How many locations were they running in that thing? I mean,
I think it was like 14 or 16 or something pretty high. Or it might have even been more than that.
It was so fun getting to go on Reddit and see people just kind of like losing their minds.
I built that deck to play like with Alex over the weekend because I was so curious to see how it would even run. And it's so much fun. It's something I don't play because I don't play locations very often. And it was surprising to see how well it did against like the control decks, how well it did against aggro decks. So I can definitely see why it made day 2. I think it surprises a lot of people when they don't know that they're playing against that. So that's the biggest element it has, because I will say when I did play Alex, he didn't know what deck I was playing. Mm-hmm. So he was able to like, okay, I need to get rid of the locations as fast as they were coming out, because otherwise you get quite overwhelmed.
But I imagine that as a champ or a DLC, you're going to see an Amber get put into an Inkwell and then some Steel card come out. You'll say, oh, I know this one. And then you get punched in the face with locations.
Yeah.
Steel Song.
Absolutely.
Honestly, how cool.
I mean, no, I love seeing decks that are off meta. Like I really tried to make my decks as close to that as possible. Wow. So like we just checked, and that location deck had significantly more locations than I was originally thinking. It had 28. And I've never even played a deck that has had that many locations. So like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean,
you ever played a deck with that many locations?
I feel like if it made sense in terms of ink and in terms of like what the purpose of each of the locations was and things like that, I think that would be good. Now, I think as more sets come out, the ability to play that many more, because I don't like to play locations that are uninkable unless they have a really great mechanics, and then I don't like to play locations that don't give passive lore unless the mechanic is really good and things like that, because I feel like you're already paying to bring it out and then paying to move characters there unless the payment makes sense. I like the passive lore locations better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one most of them had passive lore. I think there were only a few that didn't, and that's because they did something like bring your character back from discard or inflicting damage, or just it was just really cool to see. Then they also had fire the cannons for like additional removal, which was so mean. Because not only are you like just luring quickly, because they have Daisy Duck on turn 1 drop, they have Captain Hook. Then you're just throwing fire the cannons, which is a card we haven't seen in the meta in quite some time. So people were not expecting it. Alex wasn't expecting it.
But it's a good reminder that just because you aren't seeing a card every night at League, not every night, every week at League, that like there are good cards that aren't being used all the time.
Absolutely.
Well, and I mean, in upcoming set, right, we have, so for Azurite Sea, like there are some significant damage cards coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like we have that new 2-drop action, which has the Neverland Twins on it.
Yes.
And it's do 2 damage, and then you can pay to do 2 more, or discard to do 2 more.
It was, yeah. So lots of
4 damage for 2 cards.
Yeah.
Like
it's a good tech card. I'm excited for it to happen.
Yeah. I'm not happy for Steel to have more splash damage off us.
I like splash damage. I know we were just talking
inflicting splash damage.
We were just talking off mic about the difference between Ruby control and Steel control. And I was like, why do I like Steel control versus Ruby control? Because you're right. With Ruby, you kind of just, it's a 1 or nothing. You get rid of the entire character or not. There's not really much spread around evenly kind of damage. And I think that's why I like Steel, because it's, well, I can do 2 here and I can do 2 there, and then eventually I'll get all of them. And then there's so many other cards now, especially with set 6 coming out, that benefit you for having your opponents have spread out damage.
Yeah.
So I do love Steel. Not a shocker. But
Robin Hoods, where it's just like, oh, if they have a damaged character, then
yeah,
nice benefits. It's just like,
yeah, no, I think that Robin Hood deck is becoming more and more viable the farther into these sets we're getting.
Yeah.
And I mean that would honestly be the only iteration of a Steel deck I would create, but mostly just because I would love the synergy and the theme.
Right.
Like it wouldn't
love Robin Hood.
Yeah. It would be like I hate Steel as a general just being. Like it's not really my
Brittany's over here, she builds this deck. She's like, okay, you guys, hear me out.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty much anti-Steel since we started this game. It never feels good to play against it from my perspective. And I know that as someone who plays Ruby, like that's completely like hogwash, because I do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's a different flavor.
But I feel like it's different, but I guess
it isn't. But we all think it is, right? Because I say the same thing. I hate playing against Ruby. Blah 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 blah. So I think it's just personal preference.
Yeah.
Which is what's cool about this game, though, is that there's so many different ways to play it. And there's so many different, like, you just have to find what makes sense for you.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it with, as I've been pondering the kind of decks that I'm going to be building with set 6. And I feel like most people that I know have a favorite color, and they'll just like keep that and then try out their supplementary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really interesting seeing, like, my husband, he's an amber guy, and I'm just like, I could never, like, I love that for you. I'm so happy that you're happy, but amber is not my jam. But then I feel like Daryl, Steel, but then also I feel like his love of Sapphire is growing and growing.
Yeah, and I mean, he's played Sapphire Steel for a long time.
Yeah.
Sapphire Steel. Then he moved to Steel Song, and then he went back to Sapphire Steel. So I think that he loves the control that Steel gives him, but he really missed the amount of ink and the amount of variation he could do with Sapphires, which is why he went back. And that's I think that's part of why he did so well in this set champ season, is because he went back to what he really enjoyed. Like it wasn't just it was playing well, but he was enjoying it more again.
In the words of the famous post-credit scene in Mulan, you've got to be true to your heart.
So like I would say like I thought I was an Emerald girly because I was playing Ruby Emerald, and then I realized that no, the parts of the deck that I was enjoying when I was playing Christmas was the Ruby side.
Yeah.
And so then I switched to being more of a Ruby Amber player and still playing a lot of Ruby, like as Amber being its supplement. I'm using right now the deck I'm using, we posted on Instagram because I was playing it competitively. But I'm using all the discount characters from Amber to get out my big baddie Ruby characters.
Chunky boys out on like turn 3 or 4.
I got Medusa out on turn 3.
Pros.
Yeah, I was either 3 or 4, and it was like, okay, that was, and then I got Sisu out on turn 5 in a different game, and so like that was helpful because I was struggling against aggro, and so it was big Sisu. I got big Sisu out on turn 5,
and that's a game changer.
Yeah, and it saved me because they had gotten very far ahead in the because I wasn't questing at all. I was just using my characters to just like turn and discount, right? Yep. So yeah, that's one of the things that I want to improve that deck. Like that deck is more not like I would call it quote unquote a discount Mufasa package, but Mufasa was really not the be all end all in that deck. He was just an extra spice, right?
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't call it a true Mufasa deck because I had like 14 cards that were not characters.
Yeah.
So I had, Brawl, and I had Teeth and Ambitions, and I had cards in there to help with removal because just having Mufasa was not doing all the things I needed it to do against all of the types of matchups I was seeing. So I needed to have cards that were not just characters.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing what I needed. So that's why I changed it to where it wasn't all characters, which is like traditional, like Mufasa-based Amber decks have just characters.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that.
But I think it's good not to limit yourself in that because Mufasa is a great card and that ability is awesome, especially if you luck into a Chernobog or something. But
which I did in my set champs, and that was crazy.
But that's not going to happen every time. And having more options than not is honestly, I think, the way to go. So you're super smart with that.
Yeah, I think that's the decks that win, or when you have more than one win condition. So I still have no idea where I'm going with my decks.
I feel like your signature color is steel.
It is.
Yeah.
I am building an Amber Steel deck slowly as the cards are being revealed because I really do love the Tiana. I made a proxy for her and played her. She does really well with like support characters and Kita.
Okay.
That's a fun deck because then I just make it sure that nobody on your side has any power to hit me. And then so I just quest away.
As a Sapphire player, I'm just like, I'm going to make sure I have enough ink that I can.
That's funny.
So that's been a fun one. I tried her out with the new Mufasa legendary that was revealed, but they kind of cancel each other out.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't work, even though I do love, or not Mufasa, Simba. I would have loved to make them both work, but yeah, they don't work together. So it'd be either one deck is Tiana and the other one is Simba, or, C'est la vie.
I love the art on that Simba card and the fact that he's a pirate.
I need to know who does his hair. A beautiful mane.
Really?
Can we have a quick moment of silence for the Sapphire? Hey. Blah, blah.
That was a really bad not version of taps. So yeah. I was starting with taps, and I was like, taps is too long. We're just going to make a sad series of sounds.
I cannot believe they did hey like this. I am so delusional though that I'm like, maybe they're just dropping all of the like little drop hey-heys. We won't talk about the 5 steel hey-hey from last set. And then their next set of Hey-Heys that are going to come out are all the Floodborn Hey-Heys.
I love that.
I like how we moved from one being all to all. So they're all going to be released in the same set.
Yes.
Or agree with me. A new colorless element.
Ooh, and it starts with hey.
And it starts with hey.
Speaking of colorless, the elephant in the room.
Oh, that's
The coloring number system. How do we feel about how they revealed it? Why they did it? Because I have words.
okay. So I love a good Easter egg.
Me too.
And
I love Stitch.
And I love Stitch. Yeah, no, I love that. Love and adore Stitch. I don't think that the way it was revealed was exciting enough for me to be excited about it.
It felt like they threw the baby out with the bathwater.
It didn't feel like, 626.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? That's Stitch, right? Like, I didn't feel like it was explosive enough for it to make sense because it felt very understated the way that they revealed it.
Well, because they revealed it with a bunch of other Lilo and Stitch cards, so it almost got hidden.
Yeah. I felt like because they changed the numbering and the coloring for just his card, it was underwhelming.
Yeah.
And I love good Easter eggs and I love things like that. Like, I don't care that the emerald is in the amber, right? Like, for me, like
that doesn't bother you.
I don't like that. I'm like, ready for that
your way.
I care that it was understated in how it was revealed. Because, like, to me, that's kind of a big deal and it's really funny that they did it that way.
Yeah.
Or, like, they could have, animated Stitch, like, ripping through a binder and, like, done something like that where he, like, how he, like in the early 2000s commercials where he, like rips through the ceiling of the ball.
Or he
right?
hops in and is like, Jasmine, go to write in my card, but in Stitch speak.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I feel like they could have done it better,
grander.
And
then I wouldn't have cared.
That's where I was at with it. It's like, I'll probably care when I'm putting cards in my binder and I see it and it's different. Like, I'll care then, but, like, I don't care during the initial release. I do like that the numbering is staying the same, even if the color will be slightly different. Like, they didn't change the numbering system on it, because they'd already changed the alphabetical system already. It's just the anticlimactic moment.
Yeah.
Because
they did Stitch dirty.
And I feel like everybody made it such a big deal that the numbering was off. And we had noticed.
And then they
didn't really make it.
The announcement should have been bigger for what it was. I completely agree. Because then I would have thought, how fun. Like, I love that. How silly. Like, I love that.
And on his, like, on the card it says that he's like a trickster, and that absolutely goes with it. It's just, oh my gosh, the scream my husband scrumped though, because he had just spent an entire day getting all of our sets nice and organized so that when Azurite Sea releases, we can have everything where it needs to be. And when he was like, I have a system, and I was like, you had a system.
I have spent hours and days organizing our cards, just like your husband. And I don't think I would care, like, putting it away in my binders. I mean, it would kind of bother me, but that's fine. I just think it should have been grander. I love Stitch, and Stitch should have done something.
Well, especially since, like, this set is also coming out with a Stitch gift set.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so which makes sense now why they're doing a Stitch gift set.
Yeah.
Like, it's set 6. I didn't even think he's Experiment 626. I didn't put that together until they revealed that that's the card that's coming out. But they could have done it together. Like,
yeah,
they could have
made it a bigger announcement. Taylor asking.
Because, like, we know that they have animation teams.
Love.
They animate all the other stuff.
Love the idea. Not a big fan of the execution.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too. Like,
when you said, let's talk about the elephant in the room, after we were talking about colorless things, can I tell you what I really thought you were going to say? Let's talk about enchanted cards.
Oh, well.
That's fair.
Another divide, the internet, and actually your muses have, because Brittany is in love with the enchanteds, and Kimber and I are like, eh.
Yeah, no, I love these enchanteds.
Yeah.
Like, I want them all already. And I think it's because like I've been a map girly and a like that kind of old timey like feel for so much of my life. Like whenever I read a book that's like in a fantasy realm, like I always like devour the map at the beginning of the book, right?
Me too.
Like I always do that. And so to me, this is so neat, right? And I love cartography and I love the tie-in to the set. That's my take on it is like I love themes,
yeah.
right? And I've said that millions of times already on this podcast that I love a good theme. I love like synergy and I feel like this synergizes so well. And like the Captain Amelia card, I adore it.
That one is my favorite of the ones that have been revealed so far.
So like that, right, as of this podcast recording, not necessarily when we release, but
yes,
as of
Tuesday.
Yeah, we record on Tuesday, so everything that gets revealed on Wednesday and Thursday, we don't actually have
we kind of
in the podcast
to each other.
I love the way that it came out.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like you know me, I'm your fantasy reading buddy. I love maps. I love that kind of stuff. I mean, heck, I have the Marauders map, like the whole entire map at home. I love that sort of stuff. But for me, it's separate from my love of Disney, which is because of how colorful Disney is.
That's fair.
And how animated Disney is. So when I saw these Enchanteds, I was just like, okay. And like set 5 Enchanteds, that's what I think when I think Disney, because they were so colorful.
So they were very colorful, but also that went with the theme.
That's
like,
fair.
Right?
Yeah, shimmery skies.
Extra shimmery, yeah, extra colorful.
And I guess that goes with Ursula's return, all of them in the depths of the sea.
Yeah.
Not the black backgrounds, but like, I'm Tamatoa. I just want everything to be shiny.
Yeah, no, and I do say, because they released the Wreck-It Ralph Enchanted, and we got to see kind of like the shimmer on it and what it would look like in person. It does look a lot better with that, like,
wait, because it still has the foil.
Yeah. So when I just saw like the Basil card being revealed, I was like, okay, it's sandpaper, and I love that Basil's getting love because he's one of my favorite. I love the Great Mouse Detective.
That card though.
It's a gross card.
Things. Like they roasted Bucky on his fit, for lack of a better analogy, and then
gave us all the discard things this set. I don't even know what.
Well, I think
like,
they did
about this discard wrote it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. They're like,
oh.
But honestly, I still think this one's. You can still remove this one.
Yeah, it doesn't have ward on it.
It doesn't have ward, and that's the reason why Bucky was removed is because he had ward and the health and the yes, blah 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 blah. Like
my thing though is that my guy could go live on Fang. And you could go there for free on a transport pod, and that's terrifying.
That's fair. You're not wrong.
But there are
Fang only has 5 willpower.
This card is gross. And even with steel removal, this card is really hard to get rid of because you have a lot of things that in Sapphire that can give him ward. You have Grandfather Clock that can give him resist.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really gross card. So he's not.
Ruby removal is the answer.
Yeah.
Not steel removal.
We won't talk.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, Daryl's like, nobody plays Dragonfire anymore. I'm like, but they will.
That's where Alex is. He's like, they will.
I'm like, I'm putting in Dragonfire and B-Prep, and it will come.
But Alex
and Lady Tremaine.
Alex is the best of both worlds. He's red steel, or ruby steel, which is insane.
It's just like nothing survives.
Nothing survives. I do not like playing his deck, but here we are.
That's why I play.
He's very excited. He is excited for the pirate stuff because I think he is starting to go full ham on Steel Ruby Pirates, which is a gross deck.
It's a fun deck.
It's a fun deck.
Yeah.
It's a gross fun deck. I will say, thankfully, I think set 6 is bringing a lot more competitiveness to Synergy.
Which we've been asking for.
Yes,
right?
so I am excited.
Because like I think Pirates will be a viable competitive deck based on what we're seeing. It still might not be a full meta deck, but like it will be viable. I don't know about Inventors yet. I don't know if there's quite enough of them for that to be viable yet, but there was already a lot of Pirates beforehand.
And there's a decent number of Inventors. Like,
that's fair.
Like my favorite card draw mouse. is an
that,
adventure.
that is very true.
And
I will say I am very excited because they made it to where Moana is an actual playable card now. Like all of the other Moanas that were shift targets were basically unplayable until now because they now have a shift target. And they didn't beforehand. So
Yeah, so you have now, they dropped a 1-drop Moana,
yeah, which we didn't have before.
which we didn't have, and I love her costuming. And she's not bad. She's a 3/2 stat line for a 1-drop, and then this character can't challenge unless you have a Captain character in play. So great synergy. And then she's a perfect, absolutely perfect shift target for the 5 shift Moana Kakamora leader, which also I love that they made her a Kakamora leader.
No, it's
so
super.
The art is so great in this.
Yeah, I am enjoying all of that, and I love the Moana like connection. I like that she got a lot of love in this set because it's a sea-based set, right? So that's just my take on it. The flotilla,
The coconut armada.
I know it's so funny, but I think that I like the locations that they released for this set. I think all of the locations they released for this set have been decent and playable.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of them are going to see play, but I
Yeah.
feel like the ones that none of them felt like a dud to me.
No, I agree.
like the Rescue Ranger submarine.
Oh, yeah.
But not a return.
Yeah, no, that's
With 8 health.
it's
Like,
crazy.
sounds good.
I love
Thank you.
the Floatil. I'm not even a Ruby. Like, I don't play Ruby. I do think there's a lot of interesting. I would like to build a Ruby deck that focuses on you losing lore and me gaining lore. So I do love the Flotilla for that.
Well, because and then they added that action that does it,
Yep.
and they already still had
They already had cards.
they had
Yeah.
cards that you lose cards on entry, like the Lady Tremaine
2-drop.
Like I played that in my villains deck this past weekend, and I mean it only works if they have more lore, but it's still loss of lore. And you have like the sword released and things like that
Yeah.
that are gaining and losing lore.
Do you know what card from set 6 gives me nightmares? Maui shark do 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 do. Maui shark do 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 do. No, it's the half shark Maui 6-drop. He doesn't need to be evasive. I feel like that's overkill.
Oh, it's beautiful. I am
love
so excited for him.
Like 4, please.
Yes, I would also like 4, please.
And how nice when discard is getting this resurgence that you're like, okay, I guess I'll just discard my actions and then punch you in the face with Maui and get my action card back. Thank you.
Yes, no, I like the return of the action cards. I will probably be playing that for sure. Not probably. It's a definite.
Yeah. And if you have the Ruby Raya that we were just talking about, it's just like, oh, and already can get another one back.
Yeah.
Punch again.
Pretty much.
Like-
So I am very excited for my Ruby acceleration, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I would necessarily fully change in my deck, but that would be one that I would definitely put in there.
I am so excited that we finally got the Zipper and Monterey Jack reveal.
And Zipper, oh, I love
He's
Zipper.
so cute.
Like, so stinking cute.
But I also love that Monterey Jack is holding cheese because that's a necessity.
That's a necessity.
Like, we would have had to riot.
He's so, like, it's such an interesting card because, yes, he can't hit back, but he's got 7 willpower and he quests for 2 and he's inkable. So I do think that this card will see play, especially with like Bodyguard, a Bodyguard deck.
Yeah. For sure.
That's a card.
The art on Sourville, certainly.
He's so
I
cute.
love it.
I love the Sourville Surly Henchman card so much. I screamed. It is so stinking funny. I love it. Plus the flavor text. You want me to go in there? Fine. If you do, you won't come back out. Like, I should. I read it this morning.
He's so
So
cute.
happy. So stinking cute.
I love like the shipwreck
Yeah, I was gonna say I love that it's shipwrecks.
and
That one kind of looks like Prince Eric's ship.
oh, it kind of does. Yeah, the one on the left.
Yeah. Um,
I also love with the Aunt Cass card that she's just like, here, I brought you guys drinks. While there's like freaking water spout going behind her. She's just like, it's okay, everything's fine.
yeah. Some really great cards. I love them all.
What about the ukulele?
I do like the ukulele. He's
So
fun.
I was like for you, like for Steel Song, I don't know if that's just necessarily something you would include, but
Well, yeah, because you could give Naveen +3 singer.
And like Doug and I were talking about it. If you're playing Amber's Emerald, you've got Ursula, Deceiver of All. If you put her at Atlantica with a ukulele, she can double sing whatever you want.
Gross.
Yeah. very true.
It's gross.
I was just thinking because if you have like say Naveen or a 5 singer, and then another 2 drop, which you normally do, you don't have just one character with Steel Song, then they can sing Mob Song, which is not a card that we've seen play. And I love Mob Song. Again, talking about spread the damage everywhere and then get rid of your location. Be fun. It would be fun. So I think that's it for like any cards. The Vanellope Von Schweetz is really cute too.
I like her eyes.
Yeah.
Like they're very shiny and there's something in them, but I can't quite tell what it is.
I wonder if it's the like Medal of Heroes.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah. I just think once we see the actual card, we'll be able to tell a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
I can also tell you that I would very happily pay taxes to the Tadashi Hamada card for like being a brave 3-drop, questing for 2, and then if your opponent gets rid of them on their turn, 2 more. Thank you for being here today. Yeah, his work certainly does live on as the flavor text.
So diving into more of the lore behind Basic. What do we see here, guys? What do we think is happening?
I mean,
We have the new Dr. Doppler card that is holding that map, I'm assuming. Again, that has that owl, what we think is an owl symbol. It could be also a Kakamora symbol.
yeah.
And then we got the owl location.
yeah.
So, well, who is our, what does this like all mean? Who is our big bad? Is it Jafar like we all think? Is he just maybe like one of the bads? Is he just maybe the bad for this set and then somebody else is going to come and steal his thunder? Like, I just have so many questions.
Well, I mean, I think that Jafar doesn't feel as bad as the lead up to Ursula did. I think that he is definitely like in it for himself, but he hasn't said anything specifically that makes me think that he's in it past getting the crown. Like, right? Like, what is he going to do with it? And like, is he planning on becoming, the Sultan, right? Like, that's like from the lore.
I don't think it's just Jafar. I think we're going to see other, because we haven't seen any of the other baddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, at all.
At all. Like, I don't think I've seen any of them.
No, I mean, did we have any like baddies that were super revealed, right?
No, I don't think so.
Other than from Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I mean, we had Yokai, and who knows what Yokai is doing.
Yes, but do we have any that are traditional baddies? I don't think we saw.
I don't think we saw them like Maleficent. We saw Hades.
We did see Hades.
We did see Hades.
But yeah, we didn't. I mean, obviously, we didn't see any Ursulas.
Yeah, no Ursulas. I don't know if we're going.
That makes sense for
Yeah.
the lore. But I
Got a mem
We have one Mim
and a scar.
and a Scar.
But
so we have a few.
mean.
Yeah, no, none of them seem to be very strong. Besides that Hades, who is just a rare, but
Well, and I feel like we always see a Maleficent and Amethyst, and we've only seen her staff and Diablo.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. So maybe that's still one of the reveals left.
Yeah,
Her, like that would make sense to have at least one.
we've seen Captain Hook.
Got
which makes sense with the pirates.
with the pirates we would see.
Bellwether.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do have Bellwether.
What a villain.
So we've seen a few, but not as many I feel as other sets or even anything. Like none of them have come with flavor text that leads us to believe anything more about the story.
Maybe it's the
I guess we do have
or the story.
more than one scar because there's a super.
Yeah, it's a super rare scar.
But yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. Like, it has been a significant lack of villains this set,
Yeah.
which I feel like is maybe it's a lead up to another big bad reveal.
Yeah. So, lots on the horizon. I'm unintended. Very exciting. The DLC in Seattle just finished up, as we mentioned, which is super cool. I cannot wait for Continentals and to see what that's going to be all about. We had a couple of people in Arizona go, as we mentioned, and then one of our friends made day 2 and then did pretty well, and he's going to Continental. 2 people that we know from Arizona going to Continentals.
Yes. So we have 2 friends, and Andrew, who was on here before, we know is going to Continentals. And we'll have him back on before he goes.
Yeah.
Just to do a check-in with him. And yeah, we're super excited to see where this next set's gonna take us, right? Like, where's the meta gonna shift? Is discard gonna become even more prevalent, or is there gonna be an answer for it in one of the other other decks, right? Are we gonna see an increase of people playing that action amber card, the amber card that, not amber, amethyst. I'll get there eventually. The amethyst card that like doesn't allow you to discard.
Mm-hmm. The Magic of Dispel.
Magic of Dispel. Like, are we going to see an increase of her
with that
in that
7th
deck?
drop action that Emerald got today? Which I'm just like, how did I forget to mention that? Where you just discard all your cards. Goodbye.
Yeah, I feel like that's only viable in a Sapphire deck, though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of synergy with Sapphire.
That's fair, but there's also a lot of discount on actions items, things like that. So
Powers combined.
Like, yeah, I know it like sounds costly, but I think there's so many answers to make it cost less that we will see it.
Like, you could have it on by turn 4 if you have the right things out. You get
that's fair.
On jump ahead, or you do the Sail the Azurite Sea action from this next set. Then turn 3, you get a Yago. And then bada bing, bada boom, turn 4, you're playing that 7-cost action.
Yeah.
Devastating. Turn 4, you lose all your cards. Ooh. Like, if you actually...
It's hard to come back on that.
Well, I think I will be putting my whole new worlds back in, please.
A whole new world.
Don't
dare close your eyes.
So, real quick, IPs we want to see in next sets. I want to see the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
That would be so fun.
It would be fun. It's just
a Miska Mouska tools.
Sorry, not the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. The House of Mouse.
I'll still take Mouska tools. It's fine.
No, I think House of Mouse. I loved House of Mouse growing up.
I did too. It was so fun.
And just the little clips of all the shows, and I just thought it was like classic Disney.
Yeah.
And I loved, the restaurant feel where they were all there and all of that. That was super fun.
It was really fun. And then that's kind of where, like, because I always wondered if you've ever seen Descendants, why 2 of the villains get together. And it's because there's, like, conversation with them in the House of Mouse. And they kind of, like, are flirting together. And so I don't know if that's where they pulled it from, but in my mind, it clicks. So
Canon.
It's canon. Yeah, it happened because of that. So I do love it that way. I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen those movies, including Kimber, because she's halfway through Descendants 3.
I have seen that part, but
okay.
It's an off microphone conversation. That's free my scrunch for that as well.
So we're really excited. We opened our packs up so we can talk about the Inkland packs that we have in front of us. I have a card that I don't think I've seen very much of, but I do think we'll start to see more. because of the item nonsense that's going to be happening with the megabots and the microbots and go away. So we have the Wildcat Emerald card that it's evasive, so that's really nice. And then you exert them to banish chosen item.
Great.
Yeah, no, when I was playing Emerald, I definitely always had that card in my deck. Because it was inkable, first of all. So if I was playing against an item deck, I would not keep him because his stats weren't as good as some of the other cards for my 3-drops. But I think he's going to see a resurgence. I also think that Clarabelle card, the Clarabelle song, where she's singing, which is the Banish Chosen Item song.
Yeah, one-drop Clarabelle where you can pay 2 to banish a chosen item.
Yeah, so I think those are all like good Emerald options for banishing items.
I mean, what? There's no problem with items. Items are fine.
Okay.
You go sit down. You're in trouble. No. And then I have the Prince Eric Ruby card. I love this card.
I love that card. I love playing it.
Yeah.
When this character is banished, you may banish chosen character. He is so much fun.
I just always imagine him on the ship being like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
No, because that's what he looks like. He's on his way to go save his lady.
Yeah, no, and that the smirk on his face in that picture,
like, fine.
So good.
Fine, banish me, see what happens.
Randy Bishop was the artist for this card, and A+ Randy, you did amazing with this card. I love it so much. He's got like a little twinkle in his eye. He's ready.
Yeah.
All right. So I had a good pack in general in terms of things that I'm seeing more or things that I think will see a resurgence. So Chernabog, he won me a set champs this set champ. So like I feel like I needed to talk about him. Chernabog is great against discard, first of all. So that would be something that with discard, Chernabog is great. But he's also like, I Mufasa'd into a Chernabog, and I think my opponent almost cried. So because I only run one in my deck. And so the fact that I Mufasa'd into one was kind of gross.
Yeah.
But awesome. All right. So one deck that I hope does not continue seeing play is that Ruby Steel deck that we saw in the last DLC, not Seattle, the Las Vegas DLC. So yeah, I don't enjoy that deck because it saw, at least in our local meta, we had a few people try it out. I don't enjoy it most specifically because of the Gustav the Giant card, which is very difficult to remove early on.
Yep.
3-drop.
Yeah, he's a 3-drop. And so it's one of those things that I have to make sure that I have a Maui in my hand and something that can get him out faster.
Yeah.
But it's
not enough ice cubes for that guy.
Well, yeah, no, I don't play ice cubes, right? So I had to think about like Maui is the only removal that I can get out even within enough time for that. And then by that time, they've already had their
few Flynn turns.
Yeah, Flynn turns. Like if I didn't get my Brawl out for the Flynn or what have you. And like I had like one opponent play this card and they've had like 3 Gustavs out at one point.
Woof.
And I just could not remove enough of them. And then it was a nightmare. So I'll just say like I'm not a fan of that card, but I do think it's probably going to continue to be a card that is played.
I actually called it Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah.
But where's the lie?
That's fair. Okay, and then I see 2 cards that are like, so Agrabah, which is a 3-drop location, which I have played often, but I think with the resurgence of location decks and the fact that it's only 1 cost to move there, when there are so many cards that benefit from moving to a location or moving to a new location, I think it'll be a good option for that. The fact that it only has 5 willpower, it does hurt it a lot. And then 1 to go with the location synergy and to increase location synergy is the Zazu Steward of the Pride Lands. He's a 1-drop 2/1, and while he's at a location, he gets 1 more lore point.
Yeah.
Okay. I once again feel like I got the great pack. So I was going through it and I was already pretty happy that I saw Fatty, I see Clang, which another location damage nonsense. So stuff. And I got How Far I'll Go, which as a Sapphire player, that will always have a place in my heart. And my rare was the 6-drop Robin Hood that just says, some days it's nice to let the river do the running. And Quest for 4, which like one day I will make that work in a competitive deck. It's going to be great. But then last card is the Emerald staple. If you have any songs, Ursula, Deceiver of All, who's out here double singing nonsense and making you discard all your stuff, or getting you to be able to draw all the cards, or what have you, in so many different decks. And she's a goodie.
She's a greatie.
She's one of the besties.
I love her.
I love her. And the card art is so fun on that. And like, I love that she has like purple and green in her hair. It's such a good card.
Yeah.
So many ways.
They did her glimmers so well when she was revealed as the bad, and then how to differentiate, the bad Ursula with her glimmer bad Ursula, who then betrayed her. Love it.
Oh no, I love Ursula like beyond anyone else, right? Like I've cosplayed as her years ago. Just days ago I dressed up as her. She's my absolute favorite. So.
She's fantastic. I love Ursula. And so seeing that card made me smile for many, many reasons.
Well, that and the fact that this is now two packs of where you've just got like golden packs.
Yeah, got an enchanted pack. Now an Ursula Deceiver of All legendary pack, because she's not just a legendary, she's one of the legendaries.
Yeah, no, great stuff. So before we wrap up, just a quick reminder, if you are already missing set champs and looking to get one more tournament in before set 6 drops,
you're fondly dreaming of shiny cards,
right? We have our Enchanted tournament coming up in a couple weeks on November 10th.
And we're hosting that at North Valley Games Mesa, who is always so gracious to host us to record. And we have lots of fantastic prizing in addition to the full Enchanted prizing for the top 4. Mm-hmm. We have First Chapter packs, and we have Inklands packs, and we have Bloodborne packs, and we have
an Enchanted Piglet.
We have we have a banner from this last set. We have some cool little like pop figurines and even more. So we're doing that. We have trivia and raffles for all of these additional prizes in addition to the prizing for the top 8.
And it is filling up. Spots are filling up pretty quick. So if you are planning on coming, we would love to see you there. And so make sure you get signed up.
Yep. And if you're looking for any information on that, or you just want to chat with us, you can follow us on X at Lorcana Muses Pod, Instagram and TikTok at the Lorcana Muses, and email us at thelorcanamuses@gmail.com. Happy questing!
Happy questing!
Happy questing!